Good evening, televiewers. You're welcome to Prime on My Media Prime TV. We this evening are going to be looking at the 35 files placed before the Constitutional Council of Cameroon by candidates who were booted out of the race by Eleka after the selection process. We should understand that 83 persons or candidates presented their desires to run for the top job of Cameroon, that's the presidency of Cameroon. But Eleka chose 13, considered to have fulfilled all the requirements, and rejected 70 files. 35 out of the 70 rejected files thought that Eleka was not fair to them and have moved up to the Constitutional Council, where they expect their files to be reviewed and consideration made. We're going to be focusing on what could come out from the Constitutional Council, and also possibly look at the possibility for a coalition to see the day of light. We are told that one is being cooked at the level of Yaoundé. It is actually in gestation. Is it going to be successful, and who are those to be part of this coalition? We're going to be discussing this with our panelists who are with me in the studio. We have Dr. Michael Dimancho, who is a lecturer with some universities in Cameroon and also a key member of Cameroon civil society. Good evening, we're glad to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here again, Mr. Kum, and to talk about the issues boiling in Cameroon. Of course, we are coming closer to the finish line, and I know that October is just a stone's throw. And of course, we are all looking up to see who the finalists would be. But of course, we can already have a clue, because election governing body has already given a clue on what that is supposed to be. Any other thing that is coming up now will just be a kind of a minor addition to what we already know. We know that 13 candidates will get in for elections, and that we already know the runners-up. We know the newcomers. We know the hardliners. We know those who have gone for elections 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And we already know that, of course, at this point, our decisions are already synchronizing. They are circumnavigating. They are coming closer to the center. And we know exactly which candidate to choose, because in 3 months to elections, if you do not know which candidate to vote for, then it is really going to be a very, very difficult issue. So it is a time for the civil society to do more sensitization, to say, yes, you have registered to vote. Let it not be the same story of the past. 6 million registered, 3.5 million voted. No. This time, 8 million registered. We are expected to see at least 7.5 or 8 million people going to the polls to vote for the desired candidates. Remember, I've always said, null and void is a vote. And this part of the sensitization we have. There is no need staying at home to say they don't have who to vote for. When you go and express a null and void vote in the ballot box, we know that you're not giving confidence to any candidate, and it's another vote that is counted. So thank you for inviting me, Mr. Liu, and I think that we are going to be into this together. Thank you.
Prince Joel Mukaga is also part of tonight's edition of the program. Good evening, Prince. We're glad to have you.
Good evening to you, Mr. Liu, and of course, for the coincidence or nature that once I'm here, Dr. Ntimanchu, who is a brother, is always around. Good evening to all those who watch in My Media Prime Television, most particularly the program Prime R. Mr. Liu, lots of followers you have in Mr. J's subdivision. That's why each time I'm here, I must greet them, because once you invite me on your platform and I indicate that I'll be on your platform, a lot of people follow within and without the country. I will send greetings to all the peace-loving people of Mr. J's subdivision, with His Excellency, the #1 elite of that land, Professor Fokalesus Gentry, the Minister of Mines, Industry and Technological Development, and of course my father, His Royal Majesty, Fon Thomas Kimbose. Like Dr. Nzimanchu said, that we are just 3 months closest to voting, and that as of now, if you do not know where you are, then you are dancing somewhere, which is dangerous. I wrote on my Facebook page, I think 3 days ago, I said, I've made my choice, hope you have made yours. Which means that, as of now, we were waiting for Elekam to come out with a list. Elekam has already given us 13 candidates. Which means that, Mr. Liu, Cameroon is a state of law, just like any other country, and there are 13 candidates. I may decide, like I used to say, that I may vote for Dr. Nzimanchu just because I know him as a brother. Which means that at times you're not voting for someone, you're not voting the party. You're not looking at the party. You're looking at brotherliness. You're looking at the fact that this is Dr. Nzimanchu, whom I know.
Okay.
He's someone that I can call at any time.
Thank you for coming, Prince. We also are going to be discussing with Tamai. Jarvis, good evening, Jarvis. We're glad to have you.
Good evening, Mr. Kum. Good evening to Prince and, of course, Dr. Nzimanchu, who has also published another book. And this time around, I want to say that kudos to him. And it is more of literature going to give enough credence on our cultural heritage and how we preserve our culture. That said, I want to wish a special good evening to the peace-loving people of my village in Way and those in Moya and those across Cameroon, and especially those who are political stakeholders who have their candidacy rejected, that the Constitutional Council is there for them, which is the due process. It is a difficult time that voters will have to make a choice of 13 persons. However, my voice is to those who probably have actually registered to say that when you sit at home, you are not doing justice to the nation. A huge amount of money will be spent on actually conducting this election. So let's make use of this money, of the state money, of taxpayers' money, and not sit at home. Also, to those who are abroad, please note that we at home know where a pinch is better, and reduce the hateful rhetoric, and let us look at how we can respectfully disagree to agree to build a nation that will call, O Cameroon, cradle of our fathers. The cradle will not come through violence, but let this come through what Bernard Follion said in his book, which is The Genuine Intellectual, that a university is not for mindless mob, but for the talented 10. And I borrow that word to see that democracy is not for mindless mob, but for 10, when they can respectfully disagree to agree, not by the barrel of the gun, nor stones on the street. Okay,
I'll start with you, Dr. Michael Nzimanchu. 35 persons, so yes, 35 persons. Files have been deposited before the Constitutional Council. It is true that somebody like Beten Kisop has 3 petitions. Manidem also has 2. Manidem, represented by Professor Maurice Kamto, they have 2 petitions.
And PNC has 2.
Has 2. Yes, but they have valid reasons to want their files. You've gone through those who have petitions. Do you think, are you convinced that they have all the place at the Constitutional Council and that something serious is going to come out of it?
Well, I want to look first at the Constitutional Council that is receiving those petitions. And the first thing is a cry that I want to make to the Constitutional Council to be as impartial as possible. Yes, that's said. I would like to say that, you see, on the 24th of December 2024, which was last year, there is the Bishop of Yagua, Bishop Yauba Hogi, who made in a sermon, that sermon is very seminal because it went viral, and he talked about a devil should rule Cameroon, that we prefer a devil to rule Cameroon now. And I would like to say that today, most of those people who are going in for, I mean, the 83 people in the first place who put in their candidacies at LACAM in the first place, I would like to say that more than 50% of them were the devils that the bishop was talking about. Why? Because you would not imagine that Cameroonians have become so dishonest that you look at the laws and you see that these are the laws of a LACAM to deposit your candidacies, and then you carry empty files. You go to a LACAM to deposit because you want to show to the world that at one time in the year of the Lord 2025 you contested, or you attempted to contest for the post of the presidency of Cameroon.
We saw some eating bobolo.
That is a question. The issue of eating bobolo is not even a problem because bobolo is national food, is our food. But the issue is that people just make a mockery. They make a mockery of the whole process. That you just can't. And for most of it, there is a candidate who went and forgot his ID card in the house.
The candidate
exactly. And again, when you look at the reasons of rejection, you see some candidates who never even had birth certificate. Birth certificate is one of the most basic things of a Cameroonian. That if you don't have a birth certificate, your nationality is very, very doubtful from the onset. Then you don't have a birth certificate, and then you want to be the president of the country. You are not even registered on the electoral register, and then you want to go in for elections. Then you really see that. I really hope, because I've seen some of the candidates who I'm coming to this because I've seen some of the candidates whose rejection reasons were surrounding these reasons, and who again are going to the Constitutional Council. Are you going to defend why you do not have an ID card or a birth certificate? Perhaps people are going to blame the councils for not establishing a birth certificate from birth. Maybe this is what is going to happen. Or people are going to blame Elekam for not coming into their homes and registering them on the electoral register. But what I'm saying is that I think the shifting was done. And I really say that Cameroonians, it is not because we talk about democracy that you think that the world and his wife should then just get in and every Cameroonian should be a presidential candidate. People are getting it wrong. It is not a sign of democracy. It is a sign of a kind of disintegration or causing a division in the country. That because democracy shows that what? If we were democratic, at least we will rally around a candidate that we think that can be able to take our voices, because that's what democracy is also about. Giving your vote, accepting, being flexible, and accepting that this person can do the work of many people. But when you think that you and individuals can do the work, and then finally you do not do the work, then it's a problem. So in regards to these people who have gone to the Constitutional Council, well, I do not want to be a prophet of doom to say that the Constitutional Council will still say, as they said to Kamto, that they are not habilitated to say. I hope that they do not say that. But I think that Elekam itself took the time to sift out the candidates. And we were of the opinion that 13 is too much a number to go for an election of 8 million people. That was what we had as an impression. And that some candidates are still wanting to add to the 13 baffles us, and it makes us actually think that this electoral process, it changes it from the beauty that we want to enjoy of it. The electoral campaign that is forthcoming, you are going to make it a very, very boring kind of a thing. I really think anybody who thinks that he wants a change in Cameroon, rally, in one of my writings I talked about endorsing those who are qualified. Even though we know that even all those who are qualified at this present moment may not be the angels that we want, but I know that there are still devils among them, but we have to sift them. But rather than adding to the number and giving a kind of calculation to the electorate to start asking themselves, who are they voting for? I think that those who are going to the Constitutional Council have almost the same manifesto that these people, the 13 who are qualified, have. Because show me the different manifesto that you have for Cameroon, and then I'll tell you that you have the same manifesto as the 13 that will retain. And therefore, I think that this is all a distraction. And given that most of the members of the Constitutional Council are people who are already the advanced age, and they do not want a lot of work to be looking into files, I think that this is going to be a distraction for Cameroon. Let us concentrate on those who have been retained. We know that some people think that, okay, they have been unjustly, and that the Elekam has been very, very partial in their judgment. But I think nothing, I want to say it here and now, that we think that nothing much is going to come from there. So no distraction to electorate, keep thinking about how to go to the polls, keep looking at the manifesto of those who have been retained, and let us get going. It is not an issue of numbers that is going to salvage Cameroon. We can rally behind those who have been retained.
Okay, you also buy the same thoughts with him, where he says most of those who are going there actually as a distraction, because when you were to look at the reasons advanced by Elekam for the rejection of their files, very little may change at the level of the Constitutional Council.
Nothing will change. I want to appreciate very much Dr. Ntimancho. And this is speaking, when some of us speak, some will say that he has been bought over and things like that. I'm happy that they should also say he has been bought over. That is what they think. But now, Mr. Leo, when you look at I took time to re-listen when you invited me this evening. I went back and listened to Dr. Eno Abrams Egbe, one-time mayor, one-time Joe in Mr. J, because he has been Joe in my village. I listened carefully.
He's been due in women.
Okay, okay, thank God. He also left Mr. and came to home, thank God. He has been due in my village. And someone that those who are Mr. J now who are watching the program should know Eno Abraham Egbe. I took time to listen to Dr. Eno Egbe, and I noticed, just like he is saying, Mr. Kumlinat, the laws were clear. Some of the candidates were rejected. Eno Abrahams took time to read. He did not come and say Dr. Nzimancho will be candidate with CPDM. He gave reasons. There are people, they say you have been rejected because you did not pay your 30 million francs CFA. When you go into the Constitutional Council, are you taking a receipt of the 30 million you paid there, or you want to distract Cameroonians? The same people, we listened to Eno Abraham Segbe. He said there were political parties that had double candidates in the same party. Are you going, the two of you, or one person is going? It's very true when I say this. Some people will say, like some of my brothers are thinking that, okay, the CPDM two are two candidates. But no, the CPDM, the candidate who is there to has to go and defend himself. Mr. When we come here and we say things to Cameroonians, and Cameroonians think that we are supporting a system.
No, just make your point.
Yes.
Yeah, you cannot please everybody now.
Think, yes.
Yes.
Now, what I'm saying is, because then when we say things that people should learn from, and which are objective, and people think that someone is speaking from somewhere. Now, when you look at all the candidates who are going to the Constitutional Council, it's very true that elections Cameroon, first of all, goes through a process. On this same platform, Mr. Leo, I told you that, or I told Cameroonians that, instead of having a process where we have 82 candidates, 83 rather, who go and deposit in Elekam. I saw one whom you posted on your Facebook page, your following page. The man, after living there with the same dress, bought his bobolo and bought his sumo egusi and was hiding somewhere. You cannot be reducing this nature is too big for that. I think, Mr. Leo, that one of the problems we have in Cameroon is the laws in Cameroon and administrative tolerance is giving a lot of people the laxity to say what they want, to do it when they want. Because normally when you look at the candidates who are going to the Constitutional Council, that is where, like you asked me, I want to tell with Dr. Nzimancho that if at all, and that is what I've said, that if at all a candidate succeeds from the Constitutional Council, we are just saying that in journalism there's what we call a follow-up story. It's a story that we have our eyes on, because we have announced those who were selected 13. So we're doing a follow-up to see those who will be retained. Mr. Leo, if at all amongst these 13, somebody is retained, like Dr. Nzimancho said, I'll be shocked. But now, within the ethics of the profession, it will be wrong for me to conclude that nobody will be retained, because I do not have first-hand information. But now when you look at the reasons, Mr. Leo, that were advanced by Eleka, why these candidates were rejected, Mr. Leo, on a very good day, when you have a political party that endorses a candidate, and the same political party, people say that the person who was endorsed by the party held a meeting with the president one-on-one, and they did it one man, no man, and the file is rejected. People should take to the streets. That's Cameroon. When you have a political party, Mr. Leo, that does not have 300 signatures, does not have a political party that has an elected official, the party is rejected, yet things they should go and see the Constitutional Council. Like he said, and I want to tell with him, some of those who are at the Constitutional Council, like Clemence Tangana, some of them are too tired. Tired, not age-wise, but Cameroon is too busy for this distraction, like he said. What we are doing now is that we have 13 candidates. I'll be voting in Misaji on the 1st of October. We are thinking to go and vote. Amongst the 13, we are thinking who to select. Adding it to 20 or 25 is already creating problems. Who do we vote for? Reduce even it to 5 or even 2. So that I take it that day, I know that either I'm voting for Jarvis, I'm voting for Dimancho. But we have 25, we already have 13. Yet, amongst the 13, some people think that they must be voting. Mr. Kumlenat, I want to say this, that Cameroonians this time around, just like Doctor said, and I'm appreciating him, of the civil society, that Cameroonians are too intelligent to be brainwashed. If you go even to the suburbs of this country, go to Isu in Menchum, you will find one mama in one shahas who will tell you who she will vote for now. She already knows. If she registered, am I lying, doctor?
It's true.
Go to Noni in Kor. Somebody will tell you, this is my candidate. Come to my village in Misaje. Somebody will tell you, this is my candidate. They already have 13 and they have already made their choices. And we are not convincing people to vote for a particular party. No. Make your choice. It's a democratic world. But I think, Mr. Liu, that the democracy we have in Cameroon is problematic. If you have a democratic nation where people forget their ID cards and want to be presidential candidates, why don't we have laws that arrest such people? When you have a nation, when someone like Isop, who is actually a prisoner in Kondengi, and the law says that you cannot be a presidential candidate when you are an ex-convict. He is not even ex, it means he's still there. He says he wants to be president. When we have a nation, Mr. Liu, when the president of the national president of a political party sends his document, like we saw what was done within the CPDM, and just a councillor, not a mayor, not a regional council, I mean a councillor, not a mayor, he too goes and gives his own file, and he's not giving in Cameroon, he's giving in France. He is one of those who are filed in to the Constitutional Council, saying that within the CPDM there were also two files. Mr. Liu, Cameroon and Cameroonians are too intelligent. I've taken time, and that's why recently, even on my Facebook pages and other things, and WhatsApp fora, I have struggled. It is not buying anybody's idea. It's to educate Cameroonians that we are too mature for this game. We have understood what is going on. Some people want to distract us. Because how do you explain that a councillor who is not even a member of the central committee of the CPDM, where the party decides the final candidate, goes to challenge the natural president? How do you explain it? How do you explain that in a political party, like Manidem they were saying, an individual calls another individual, they hold their meetings, they go and give in a deal, a policeman, they sign their documents, and then the members of the party come up and say, even if you were to sign him, tell us. It is just the normal that you should understand that where it was not a gentleman agreement. Mr. Liu, me, I want to buy totally 100% what doctor has said, that I will not be shocked, because what is a surprise? A surprise is expecting the unexpected. I will not be surprised if any candidate is retained. On my mind, I know that all those who are filed will not.
Is it formality for you also? Is it also formality? When you look at some of the files?
No, as an academic, as someone in the academic field, I will not take it as being formality.
Okay.
We learn every day. And there are some things that we may overlook at, but whereas there are some legal issues that may come up that may, for the purpose of research and purpose of future elections, that may be adjusted. Let me take one of the cases, for example. If we look at the issue that the CPGM file, the law now should come and tell us, because the law is clear on some of the issues, but maybe Onana is capitalizing on the fact that it's a councillor. Maybe. I'm not. No, I'm saying, excuse me, I'm saying that he is capitalizing on that. Now the law.
Elekam has explained.
Elekam has explained to him.
Excuse me.
Mr. Liu, thank you.
Yeah, they say Elekam says a party did not endorse.
Yes,
have you read?
I've read, but
have you read?
As a journalist, you should know what
the electoral code says that candidates are endorsed by a political party, and then goes further to say if you are not coming as a political party, you are coming as an independent candidate. And as a response to Onana, Elekam says you are neither endorsed by a political party nor Are you
an independent?
Yes, as an independent. So it's
Elecam doesn't explain the law. It's the Constitutional Council that interprets the law.
Yes,
And now, no, excuse me.
No,
Excuse me, Prince. Where?
The Secretary
Prince,
General
let me talk.
No, you to talk.
Let me talk.
You are going to come.
The Elecam play by law that has been written. Now, if you
By the electoral
by the electoral code, but now if you feel that there is a window of opportunity that maybe, which as if you feel, then we must grant due process. Democracy means due process. You don't just say we are of the common law extradition. You are guilty until proven guilty. You are ignorant. You are innocent until proven guilty. If the law states that there is room for post-electoral petition, it means the law assumes that there may be some errors and there may be some loopholes, and that's why each person, if you feel that maybe it was not clear or well interpreted, it will be interpreted, and that's why I say it's a learning process, because when the Constitutional Council will give its version and explain the text, it will further now remove some of the issues that people may be thinking in their head. It is for future research. We cannot totally say that no, it's for future research, because Elecam state that you must be invested by a party. That each party has text. Maybe Onana is capitalizing on the violation of a text of it. Maybe I'm saying he maybe. I'm not. Let us listen.
But was he endorsed by a party?
That's why I say that.
No,
excuse me. I am, and that is why I say journalist. I'm telling you that there is due process. The Constitutional Council is there to interpret the law. Not you and I. We can give what the law. Elecam reads what the law has said. No, please,
please. Let me talk. You are going to talk later. Go on,
Prince.
Onana will never be retained. It's clear.
I am not saying retain. I'm saying that it is for educational. That person may have a legal explanation. Let us allow them, because they may be legal. Don't forget, Dr. Dimancho, you bear witness that there are some difficulties that some persons face in registering. Don't forget that there are some difficulties some persons face in registering. Maybe that's what they want to capitalize on. Maybe the law should explain to us, and it will help prevent this charlatanism in future. We should not just say that no, they ought not to, they ought not to. Let them go. Like you rightly put it. The bishop said it is better for a devil. And that this was the devil he was talking about. And that, don't forget that there's he who plays the devil's advocate enables us to see things that we probably did not see. And that's why in the meeting we always say we need someone to play the devil's advocate. That advocate means that if everybody is going right, try to look at it from a constructive position. I want to explain something here, that the Constitution of Cameroon did not give an academic limit for anyone to become president. So let us not totally capitalize on the academic nature. It's not
They gave age.
I said academic. I was clear. Academic. Academic.
They gave age.
I said academic, because the argument that I hear sometimes you bring is about the issue of probably academia. I said academic.
When someone is less than 35,
no, I'm coming. I'm coming. That is an
argument.
argument. That's another element of the argument. I'm explaining that. Let us also not forget that the Constitution did not give academic qualification, which means that I said academic qualification, please. You quoted some people who probably forgot the ID card.
No, it is him.
No, you said.
No, it is him.
Yes, today.
No, it is doctor.
Okay.
And doctor has taken responsibility.
After this, you won't watch it. You understand? You said someone will forget his ID card and come back to go and.
Then what are they taking?
Yes, that's it. That's you quoted. So I want to quote. Those are cases. No, those are cases. Please, those are cases. I want to cite a case. I'm citing case by case. And when I take the issue about educational qualification, that's one case that the Constitution did not give room, did not explain educational qualification, which means that the Constitution, I understand that anybody who is of a particular age that the Constitution has stipulated can vie in for president and campaign.
In the house.
And campaign and win. And campaign and win. You are not the lawyer. Allow the lawyers to do their job at the Constitutional Council. What we should be saying here.
Winning family.
Yeah.
When you say that
let the lawyers interpret. That is why they are the Constitutional Council. That is why they will interpret. They should interpret.
You don't have an ID card. You are going to the Constitutional Council.
Can you please, Prince, let him learn. You coming here.
Let the lawyers take their clients. If their client says that they are disfranchised, we are happy with this process, because instead of going to the street, they should go to the due process. If you know that you are disgruntled, they interpret the law. Me, I'm more interested in the interpretation and how it will prevent future elections.
Have you read the substance of what Ndim Jacob is presenting to the Constitutional Council? He has simply written a letter of appeal. That is what is there.
Yes.
The others have said, okay, they want this stuff. But Ndim says letter of appeal.
This is letter of appeal will enable lawmakers to go back to the drawing board and see how they can scrutinize and prevent some of these things from happening. Because if he had not gone to the appeal court, many people would not have seen this letter. And now the letter has come, it is also going to help in training.
Would the letter provide this, the absence of his
ID card
of justification of registration? Would that letter of appeal justify why that he has not paid the 30 millions? Would that letter justify that he did not have a certified true copy of his birth certificate and all these things? In
the domain of academic, this case that letter has given will further help contribute in research and in teachings. Okay. I don't know, you people may not agree, but it is necessary.
You are a researcher, yes. How do you understand that Elekam tells you that this is the electoral code, you have not respected A, B, C, D, E, but somehow I don't know, is there a different law that the Constitutional Council is going to use to now qualify these persons?
You see, Mr. Leo, it comes back to what I said the last time, that Cameroon is ruled by sects. And ruling by sects means that what? People believe in some kind of metaphysical interventions in things. They do not follow the law. I even heard another candidate saying that it was God who ordained him to go for miraculously was going to be the president of Cameroon. Can you listen to people talk? People are talking about God helping him miraculously to get into the presidency. This is where we are today. And it is a pity. It is a pity. Leave God in the issue of legality. Fulfill your legality and then call God. That name has suffered. And that is where the problem is. Because when you go into the content of these revendications to the Constitutional Council, you realize that there is very much, really nothing to do with all of those. It is just to continuously distract the electorate. Let me come back to even the party in power. You talked about Tyler Onana, and you were trying to give a point. Mr. Taman Jarvis was trying to give a point about Tyler, and I will tell you that that point doesn't hold. Tyler's point calls on the internal wrangling of the party, the CPM. It has nothing to do with the issue of a LECAM or Constitutional Council, and let me tell you why. Tyler's point is that the executive body of the CPDM, headed by Pobia, is already outdated because they were supposed to have their Congress 3 years ago and choose a leader. And because they didn't have the Congress to choose the leader for the presidential election, he is like mounting a coup d'etat to say that I am going to, because the party has gone against the rules of the internal rules of the party. What does that have to do with LECAM? Does a letter have to come and judge the issue, to judge the issue of the party? And LECAM is not there to judge internal issue.
Is that not also similar to what Yebga Dirune is saying, that due process was not respected in the selection process of the candidate from Manidem, because according to him, or according to the rules and regulations of the party Manidem, they were supposed to meet in plenary and then choose a candidate to endorse for.
Let me tell you, in revendications, issue concerning a moral body, a quorum is very, very important. When you go to Yebga has a following. When you go to Tyler Onana, he seems to be alone. That is, you overlook
that's
it.
Not the legality of what
no, it is not the legality. It's true.
That is not the legality of what he has.
That is true. I'm coming. I have not landed. I have not landed. I have not landed. Secondly, in Manedem, we have had letters flip-flopping about it is Anise Kande who is calling the shot, about Yebga who is calling the shot, about Onana calling the shot, and Yebga calling the shot.
Who called themselves the Circle of Elders, something like that.
Who have disowned.
So that I want to let Taman Jarvis, because I'm clarifying it. I mean, he's a researcher. You get to that because sometimes you need also the data.
That is what was the point I was making about the data.
Yes. So what I'm saying is that when you go to Manedem, the issue in Manedem is not the same as the issue in the CPDM. It is quite different. Because with Manedem, you have the Council of Elders who have also constituted themselves to support. I mean, even Yebga.
Yep.
And then you also have letters that going around from the Minister of Territorial Administration. At one moment it was Anise, at one moment it was Yebga, and now going on to the website of the Minat, you see that at one time it is Yebga who is even the president, who is calling the shot. And then let us listen to these facts very carefully. Who the minister said it was it was hacked. The website was hacked. Do you really believe that on 24th, within 24 hours to the ruling of the Lekam, then the website is hacked and the name of Anise is changed to the name of Yebga? Now that one will show you that.
How do we explain Kisa Beten? He is in prison. He has 3 petitions. Let's take the case of Jacob, Ndim Jacob. It is clear that he does not have this and this and this and that, but everybody still, they all have the latitude to first go to Elekam without fulfilling the requirements, and now are moving up to the Constitutional Council without fulfilling same requirements as well as so many of them. Is it that our laws are too lax, or what's not right?
What is not right is that the laws in Cameroon are too weak.
Cameroonians themselves, they are we dishonest?
Mr. Leo, I said it here the last time I was here that one of the issues we have in Cameroon is that our laws are too simple. We're living in a nation where everybody just think that they can get up and do whatever thing they're doing. When you have Cameroonians who go and sit in a bar, like images I saw, and eat bubble that is sold for 50 francs and negotiate and would think that they should rule the nation. It tells where we are.
Maybe it's to show how simple it's going to be as a president.
Now, Mr. Leo, some of us have had the opportunity to sit with some people, even you. You're not a small man. There are things you will not do. You're a public figure. You will not want to rule Cameroon and we see you at that level. You will not want to rule Cameroon and you don't have a bed. You forget your ID card in the house and leave and travel, because Jacob, his case is so peculiar because he is a lone candidate that deposited in the whole Southwest. He forgets his ID card. It is when they are compiling his document and the people who took his documents at Elekam are telling him that it's as if ID card not there. The man says, let me go and look for Mr. Leo. Let us be sincere and be honest. Doctor has said something which is very normal. Mr. Leo, when you have a political party, because I've listened to people, at times I'm happy that he is being very objective as a researcher that he is. And some of us who are speaking from facts and figures that we have. You will not compare a political party like the CPDM, where it is Jean Kwete, who is the Secretary General of the CPDM political party, accompanied by Samuel Mvondo Ayolo, that goes to deposit the candidacy of their party with Lyon Odana, who was in France, and sent a fax. Mr. Leo, permit me say that we have another political party whose candidacy was given by the Secretary General of the party. That's the UNDP. Bello Buba Magari was never in Yaoundé to give his candidacy. It is his Secretary General, who is a parliamentarian, who took his candidacy to go and give. Was he rejected, Mr. Leo? Never. I just think that, like you asked me, Cameroonians are too busy. Cameroonians are too intelligent. Cameroonians are too mature for such deceptions. I'm saying so because when you look at what is going on, there are people who have gone to the Constitutional Council, Mr. Leo, knowing fully well. Mr. Leo, how do you explain that you go to deposit your documents and then when they give you an interview, you say that the government is owing you 50 million francs, they should deduct 30 million and reimburse you 20. And then you are the same person going to the Constitutional Council. How do you explain that you are an artist? You go and deposit your document and you say that Sonacam is owing you. When the Artists Association will pay your dues, you go and pay. How do you explain, Mr. Leo, that a political party that has invested a candidate, has even those within the political party, saying that it was a singular decision. Mr. Liu, whatever thing that will happen at the Constitutional Council in the days ahead, it will not shock me. If I tell you some of the candidates in this election that I know personally, that was even shocked to see them as candidates. I wrote some of them, I called some of them, and I congratulated them. With your permission, I may call even 3 names. When I saw the name of Eteki, I called him. I knew Eteki as a friend, yeah. I didn't know that he ever had any plans to ever be a politician. And even in our discussions, he had never told me that he will be. I congratulated him because he's a young man who went under the FDC political party, Mr. Liu. The FDC is a political party under Denis Atangana. They have a councillor.
No. He went under PAL.
Okay, PAL.
Celestin Bitigi.
Thank you. Celestin Bitigi. Sa Majesté is a chief. He has a party. When you look at other parties, like this guy who is under the FDC.
It is Hiram.
Hiram.
Yeah.
Hiram is a guy whom I've known severally. I met him thanks to one of us who has been on this platform. Kotem. He held a meeting recently. I was there with Doctor. You were there in the meeting with Michelle Doki and the others. When I was explaining how they would track elections for not to fraud. Little did I know you would even be validated. The guy, as intelligent as he is, goes behind. Gets a political party that has a councillor. So when he is validated, the law is simple. For you to be a presidential candidate, you should belong to a party that has a councillor. So even if he is or he is not, where is the problem coming from? I just feel that, Mr. Liu, like Dr. Dimancho said in his introductory statement, this is a presidential year. Okay. Cameroonians, Mr. Liu, Cameroonians have lots of problems, and the 12th of October is not far. Whether the Constitutional Council brings which name or rejects which name, Cameroonians, even when they saw the 82 candidates and those who are registered, because if you look at some of those who are criticizing on WhatsApp, on Facebook, are not registered. Now, those who have registered already know for those who are going to vote. And since we are living in a democratic world, just like Mr. Javi said, you are entitled to whoever you vote for. Mr. Liu, I've said it here severally that if you went in as a presidential candidate, I could vote for you. Not because you necessarily bring the change that I want, but because in journalism there's what called selective exposure, selective retention. I will know that Leo is my man. If he becomes president, I could call him even in the night. That's not personal interest. So most Cameroonians will not be voting.
Away from, when we look at the 83 persons who went to the ELECAM, and we have 35 persons going to the Constitutional Council, can we also see to some level, to some extent, wanting to show off, want to keep buzz and people talking about you, and not necessarily because you think something good is coming out of the Constitutional Council?
Of course, you know, they want to keep buzz and also want to keep their popularity context. You can also take that away from them. There are 3 reasons why somebody may put his candidature to going for election. 1, either the person have real change. 2, either the person also want to uplift his or her social status. And 3, if the person want to make financial gain out of it. Now, all of these reasons, you remember that prior to this, when people launched talked about their aspirations, they had donations, and they started calling for donations. So donations actually came in. And so far, some of these persons may also want to justify their donations by saying that, okay, we made this money and we have gone to the Constitutional Council, and this is the amount we have spent, and this is... Remember that, Mr. Liu, we are on the eve of also another election. Let us not take this away from these persons. Some of them may be explaining, thinking that no, they are just doing it, but they may be also strategically positioning themselves for the municipal and legislative election to say that, okay, you know, I was active this year, their name needs to be heard. And these are just things they know. We all have actually falling prey on some of these issues when we look at our days in school. There are moments where you know you go late, they will refuse you from entry, but you still go to school, you still go to the gate. And there are moments where you may think that you can be flogged, and you may actually have the entry. So I'm not saying that they will have a verdict overturned. I'm explaining that these are the reasons. And also, we must also understand that there are some people who are going there to build their base such that if the finalists come in, they can easily negotiate their way for a potential cabinet for whoever they want to support. Because we have seen other candidates who probably did not finally submit their document, ended up endorsing a particular presidential candidate to see that, okay, they have to also make their name valid. There's something also I want to make it clear. I am not saying that these persons going to the Constitutional Council are not aware that some of their issues may be irresolvable. However, for the sake of education and legal process and training, there are some cases you may think that has been won on the surface of law, but not knowing that there is a back door where that issue needs to be redressed or addressed. That is why when you are studying, I might not in law. That's why when you are studying, there are some examples they give you. They will always give you the case of this that decided by the Constitutional Council as of this that where the applicant this that because as of now Elekam is the defendant. Elekam is the defendant, and those Elekam is the defendant, and those who are going in are the prosecutors. Elekam is defending because they are the ones that have sued that they were ought to be on the list.
You're correct.
So at the moment, so Elekam will not present its case, bring its lawyer, the lawyer will explain, and in the process of that, there's something that I'm very interested in, which many people fail to understand. It is what we call the writing of the judges, where the judges write, and that is used for future election. And let me let some of us understand that. You see like a man who has written, he has written a letter. And now that is letter that he has written will go into the annals of history and will be used to teach students, whether for the good or for the bad, that this in so and so year, so and so person did this, elucidate on this and explain the legal issues on this. Dr. Dimancho, you are a pedagogue. You understand some of these things pedagogically. I'm not saying legally. My only advice is that if you make yourself banana, monkey will eat you. You see the level at which we have had the number of presidential aspirants. It tells you how much badly needed Cameroonians need change. Because if you look at 2018, we did not have these shenanigans of many people going to deposit their document in 2018. In 2018, it was kind of very, very serious. It was serious business. It is now in this 2025 where we are having a proliferation. And I tell you that many Cameroonians got to understand the loopholes of the law and decided to go and drop their documents. Because the law, if the law made it clear that before you deposit your document at Elekam, before Elekam can actually receive your file, you must show proof of paying your 30 million. We will not have arrived at 80. Elekam will not have received the file because the law is that Elekam at the pre-deposition state, Elekam just receive files and put your name that you have deposited. But if at the moment the law had given, we had an electoral law that stated that Elekam do the screening prior to the depositing, and upon receiving, upon signing a dispatch, you must show proof of paying that 30 million, only first that 30 million. I bet you probably know that doing all those people will not have deposited the document. That would have been the first issue. So the fact that the law gives provisions for post-electoral or pre-electoral petition, it means that the law itself understood that there are some errors. Elekam is not perfect. The law understood that there may be some errors that Elekam may not interpret it well. That's why the Constitutional Council have the final say. And if there's that provision, it means that the maker, the spirit, our forebearers who made that process have understood that there will come a time like this when some people will actually feel that they were disenfranchised. We are not saying amen and amen about this process. Let them go to the Constitutional Council, make their case, and if their case is listened to, we who are interested in the data, I'm interested more in the final writing, in the writing, what the law will say, and so that we can use it now in future and tell candidates that, hey, you know what, this case was already decided in the case of Elekam versus Mr. Ndong Imboya. In the case of this man who said he was going to give President Paul Biya his 10,000 voters, whom his party was also illegal, will actually tell you that in the case against this person and this person. But there's something that I want to say about these people who are going to the Constitutional Council. They should understand that at this point in time, what Cameroonians need is a coalition. What Cameroonians need is for them to come together and support one another. That is
okay,
that is
which
my
takes
view.
us straight into our second topic tonight. I published earlier on today that a coalition was in gestation. I am reading from Barrister Keremuna, who says the work begins now. He announced this evening that we are building a strong coalition that will lead us to victory. Good news to what you have been clamoring for, Doctor.
Yes, good news in the discourse.
Okay.
But I want it to be incarnated.
Okay.
Because we have heard this good news so many times in the past, where we are moving towards election. In order to get credibility, some candidates announce coalitions that never ever became. And what we Cameroonians want now is to see things done and not only heard. We want to see the coalition get into action. We want to see who is going in for the coalition and want to see the coalition together. We want to see partnering. We want to see endorsement. We want to see people expressing the desire for cohesion, for synergy, concerting together. We do not want to read from people any longer. We are tired and our eyes are tired reading on Facebook about a coalition. Our ears are already really sore and tired listening to people talk about coalition. Remember that most of these rhetorics is just to gain popularity, to gain the electorate they need. We have clamored for these things since it is 7 years today. We have been talking about a coalition. A coalition is not just anything you get up in the morning and then you say, I want to go into a coalition with somebody. A coalition is something planned, well organized, because it needs to follow a certain formality, because there needs to be some agreements, there needs to be some MOU, memorandum of understanding, that gets into play for a coalition to ever hold. But when you come at the eve of election and then you say, we have gone in for a coalition, who are you actually talking to? Because we want to avoid a situation whereby even if they come to be a coalition, that they win an election and they plunge Cameroon into a kind of a very, very difficult condition. Remember that a coalition that is not pre-planned, that is not premeditatedly planned, can be a coalition that will plunge the country into a mire where escape is going to be very, very chimerical. What we are saying is that if you don't plan a coalition and finally win an election, what happens? The squabbles begin within the governance of a country, and it doesn't go well for a country, because that one is going to shatter the whole country. What we want to see, well, I am not very pessimistic, because this is something we have worked for so long. If finally at the eve of election, because I called this already at the eve of election, we are less than 3 months to the elections, and if now people are announcing that coalition is there, we want to really see it done. I will very much believe somebody who actually shows us that here we are together in a coalition by somebody who is announcing that coalition is already coming. It is not like you announcing to me that freedom is coming when I don't see the freedom. No, I want to see the freedom. I want to feel the freedom. Don't tell me the freedom is coming. Yes, because one of the most important things about what Cameroonians have learned in the past is that even when the coalition is formed, as it is usually done at the eve of election, before it is the next day, which is election day, it shatters. We have had this in the past. And we think that it may still be the same scenario that will happen with what these announcements they are making. Why can't somebody just carve out something? Why can't somebody just frame out something? Why can't somebody just build up something and then come and present to Cameroonians and say that this is a coalition we have been looking for? Here we are. I have seen people pairing up, especially the young candidates like the Hirams and the and all of those. They pairing up to say that, okay, they are ready. But this is all about Facebook thing. I do not want to very much believe in it. I want to see these young people, I want to see these people, whoever they are, gather together and tell Cameroonians that here we are in a coalition, just the very way they announced their candidacies for the elections that is coming. I want that to be done, because that announcement was actually incarnated by them deposit or submitting their document to Elecam. I want us to see them together, come, call together in a meeting and announce. I mean, let the media be there, because once the media is there, it actually credibilizes what is happening. They say that on this particular day, the year of the Lord, a coalition was formed between maybe Akaremuna, Issa Chiroma, Belabuva Maigari. You find them together. But all now is just still gesticulation that it is just still projections that they are trying to do. So what I'm saying is, we, the civil society, We worked tirelessly. I met them individually, and we talked this issue together. But then, I'm happy that if somebody is announcing today, or if they are announcing today that there's a coalition happening, it means that that fear, which they expressed particularly to me, they have dissipated that fear. And what was that number one fear that they had? Number one fear was that they say they are very doubtful of the other candidates. Each candidate is doubtful of another. And that they are afraid that some are sell out. There's a local palangs we call them black legs. And I'm saying that if they are saying today that, okay, the coalition is finally here, it means that finally they have taken an oath that nobody is going to be a sellout. If it is an oath, let us see them together in that oath. And it means that we have all accepted that there will be no sellout. And remember that that is not also rolled out. Mr. Tamai Jabiri was saying in his statement and saying how the affluence of the candidacies this year shows that people are hungry for change. Cameroonians have always hungered for change. There is no hunger for change that has surpassed that of the 1990s when we cried, freedom is here, freedom is coming. And we found people dying. 6 people died in the SDF because they wanted to found the party SDF. What I'm saying is that most people who were going for the election this year, 2025, their projection was that Mr. Pobia was not going to go in for election. Let me tell you, that is why most people are. Because the fire cry has always been that Mr. Pobia knows the terrain very well. And that when Mr. Pobia is into that game, I mean, the terrain is all very slippery for them. And now the speculation this year was that, since his age is, and many people spoke, Cleda spoke on the 24th of December during his Christmas sermon too, and said, we don't want to have a president, the name of this and this. And many other people spoke about that. And now people got encouraged. And they say, okay, if he is not there, it means that the terrain now will be very smooth for everybody to run. And that's why you found that influx of people coming. But then, that influx will not change Cameroon. What we are thinking is that the coalition that we have long gone for, then the coalition, in the first place, what is a coalition? That coalition should have people with credibility. Because I've already heard a lot of people talking about some particular candidates, and they say they are even very doubtful of some candidates. I don't want to call names. They are first of all, very doubtful of some candidates because they were sell out in the past. They are electorates now talking. I'm talking from the side of electorates. The other one I was talking on the side of the opposition party whom I met, and that they were very doubtful, some kind of doubtful. But some electorate think that some candidates are very doubtful, and that when they get to the coalition, there's a possibility that they are not going to express the views of the electorate and the views of Cameroon, even if they take part. So anybody going for a coalition, he should look for well-formed candidates, well-refined candidates, morally, socially, economically, and then bring them on the table and let them discuss, and then pave a way forward for a smooth running of Cameroon after the presidential election.
Okay. Barrister Keremuna announcing that they are working on a solid coalition this evening. I'm sure they are meeting in Yaoundé. Good news for those who have been clamoring for that coalition.
It's extreme good news. I saw the images online before I came for this program. I think I saw Akeremuna, Joshua Osi, and Isachiru.
Akeremuna and Isachiru.
And Isachiruma. And I think I saw Joshua too, somebody.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I read a newspaper this morning, Mr. Liu, Tribune d'Afrique, that was published today. The paper said, Présidentielle 2025, pourquoi il va encore gagner? They took Pobia's picture, kept there, and said, the paper is there for those who think that we may be lying. They can look it even online, Tribune d'Afrique. The paper was struggling to enumerate reasons why they think that Bia will win. Mr. Liu, on this same platform that I've had the opportunity that you've given me, and that I've been invited here severally, I've said that Cameroon has 360 subdivisions. I've also said on this platform that Cameroon has 58 divisions, and that this same nation has 10 regions. And that, Mr. Liu, on this same platform, I've said that those who campaign in their villages is not Paul Biya. It is not. When you go to Isu, it is Walaricha who is talking. When you go to Monyawe, my good brother and friend Chavez always greets the people from Monya, the beautiful people of Minwa. It is Malomba who is talking to them. When you go to Kumba, you have Mukete, the His Excellency, the Israel Majesty Mukete. What I'm just struggling to say, Mr. Liu, is it will be difficult. If not, it will be an uphill task. Because you've asked me a question, why is good news? It's good news. If the opposition dreams of beating this current system, if the opposition wants to beat the CPDM, it's simple. What do? Form the coalition, like what Akere has announced. Not only forming the coalition, but they should ensure that when they go to Mbinon, in Uku, let them have someone, someone to represent them during the polling, the polling station. When they go to Isu, someone should be there. When they come to Mfume or Chiako, there should be someone. When they come to Misaje, someone should be there. But now when you are running for an election, where you don't even have the capacity to go during the 360 subdivisions, Mr. Liu, how do you then complain that they stole your votes? Mr. Liu, this is my Media Prime Television. It's a very simple example. You are on all platforms. My Media Prime is on all, how do you call it? On all channels. And the same station is on Canal Plus. Which means that someone who is not even that. But now the same TV station is streaming its programs online, Mr. Liu. That's why at times you have messages coming from Dubai. You have messages coming from America. Which means that from that in journalism, there's what we call a feedback. You can be able already to decipher who is watching my Media Prime in Dubai, in America. But when you have a political party that wants to fight the CPDM, that does not even have someone in ACO, and you're just thinking that because you come and say that one change, while you're telling people that one change, who have been suffering for more than 100 years because of this, because of that, we need change, the people are also listening to their elite. Mr. Liu severally on this platform said that you are one of those based on the time I've known you and what you have been doing back home. If you go back today, Mr. Liu, to your village and tell your people that vote for Joshua Ose, I bet you have lots of votes. If you tell your people vote for Akere Muna, the people are not voting Akere Muna. This is what I keep telling people. They are looking at Kumdiona as someone who was director of High TV in Boya and used to send them scholarship as students. They are looking at Kumdiona who is director and managing director of our Media Prime and supports them. And even during his birthdays, instead of taking all so much money to look for a sophisticated bar to go and enjoy, he calls for the orphanages, just like he went to Susa. It means that, Mr. Liu, someone is not voting that party. It is you they are identifying with. The moment people will understand this, I'm coming with it because it took me time to investigate it. I may not be a researcher like Dr. Nzimancho and my very good friend Jarvis, but these are things that I've investigated. I've discovered, even in Vox Pop, that I do that. Cameroonians many a time, Mr. Liu, are not voting a party. Even that thing that say manifesto ideology, they identify behind someone, die with. That is why you have people who are ready to go to a prison cell while their candidate is outside. Because the candidate told them that without wish, we'll do this. I just still feel, Mr. Liu, that at the end of the day, Cameroonians and those who are thinking that there is need for a coalition, let us pray. Let us really pray that they should come together. Not only coming together, but Tonya Akere Muna is a strong force to reckon with. And still on this your platform, Mr. Liu, we had someone like Dr. Barrister Asom Michael, who said, even if what, he would have had all the lawyers behind him. He said it here on this your platform. Okay. So I think that, Mr. Liu, that if a coalition is coming up, then it's good. And if at all it becomes successful.
But when Akere Muna, who is also a lawyer.
That is what I'm saying. That this is what I'm saying, Mr. Liu. That's what I'm saying. That Batonya Akere Muna, if at all he succeeds to assemble, okay, there are people going as lawyers not to vote his party, but they are going to vote Bartholomew with their colleague.
A colleague, okay. Yes, news from Yaoundé says that serious talks are ongoing, and maybe tomorrow or the day after, we may be told in plain terms who is in the coalition or not.
They have until, politically, for my analysis, for my observation, they have until Friday to make this conclusion. If after Friday they haven't, then their chances of getting the people, mobilizing the people will reduce, because it is not just to come and form coalition at the nick of time, because like Dr. Dimancho said, there's what called MOU. You need to come up with a strong MOU. You need to, when this MOU will enable you and galvanize your base, because your base will protect the election based on the existence of the MOU. And for example, we have 56, I think a 56 division. Now we have 360 subdivisions. Yeah. We have, of that 360 subdivision, you start looking at also the big cities, the big towns within those divisions. Now it gives us about 25,000 polling stations. Now of that 25,000 polling stations, you start multiplying out the polling cells. That is let's say a particular town or a particular area may have about 5 different polling units. Now, if you look at all those polling units that they have, the polling unit that they have, it means that you will need a single party. Let's say 3 parties come together. Those 3 parties coming together, they will still not be enough to have the 25,000 independent observers.
Now we even need 30,000.
Yeah, we need 30,000. And there is also something that you do in political analysis, which means that you are sending 2 per area, not 1. Because if they say you need 25,000, you cannot send 25,000. You, because the 25,000 you are sending, what if the one person goes there and is compromised? What if the one person goes there is not feeling fine? So you are supposed to send 2 persons per observation. Now you look at now the polling cells in itself. Let's take for example Bange. Bange may have Frengujom Bange. You also have Koto. You also have Baoba. You have in this area. You have now. You look at all these areas. So you need extra polling agents now for this sub cell. So in total, you take 25 times 3. No, because it cannot be. If you take, because if you are sending a 2-2, that's 50 already, 50,000. 50 times 3 now, because each of those polling cells, you need at least one person to be there. So you multiply that as a number that you need now for the opposition to secure this vote. This is what they should start thinking now. What are we going to do to protect our vote from the restive northwest and southwest region? Because I bet you the history may repeat itself at the Constitutional Council, where some lawyers will come and tell you that in the north and southwest there was no election. You knew this from the beginning. We all watched it in 2018. That's why a coalition begins now. That's why a strategy begins now. Because if you delay, you need a lot of negotiation and talks in the restive areas for your vote, because that is where their eyes should be. But they will come and tell you that, just wait now, are we not here? Mark, save this video. They will come and tell you that there was no election in North and Southwest. And they stole. But this is what they should do now.
Are they not MPs in the National Assembly?
If they come together,
they are.
This is the advantage that we have. Number one advantage that we have is that they will have people, observers who cannot be easily be bought. Because every observer will be on their stronghold. Let me take, for example, SDF. SDF militants will not need to move. So they will mobilize their resources in their stronghold. You go to FCNC of Chiruma, they will also not need to move. They will mobilize enough food, they will not be able to move. You go to that of Belobuba, they will also not be able to move. By so doing that, you can have the procès verbal. Because the challenge is that you cannot come to the Constitutional Council without evidence. Because there's a statement always say that the lack of evidence is not evidence and the evidence is absent. But it's just evidence that the evidence cannot present itself. So my view is that when you form a strong coalition based on now a memorandum of understanding, this memorandum of understanding, how should it look like? That is, if we win an election, what should be done? Because there was an error that happened in the Gambia. Let me use the case of the Gambia. The case of the Gambia between Adamu Barrow But yes, when Jammeh was taken out, Adamu Barrow formed a coalition with other opposition parties. They did not have a concrete memorandum of understanding. They just discussed, they discussed, okay, if we succeed to remove Yahya Jammeh, this is what we will do. You will be there for 1 mandate, and after 1 mandate you call for fresh election, and it goes. But let me shock you. When Adama Barrow won the election, the 5 years came, Adama Barrow said he is president of Gambia, he's not president of any coalition government. And that started the protest in the Gambia. Because if you say there was no strong MOU that was signed, the people were not only focused on chase away Yahya Jammeh, chase away Yahya Jammeh, chase away Yahya Jammeh. That is why if you don't form a strong MOU, you will witness what happened in the Gambia. And as I'm talking to you, there is an internal political rigmarole in the Gambia, because the opposition came together without a strong coalition and they chased away Jammeh. And when he came out, they said, okay, 5 years are complete, we agree during the meeting. He said, you and who? Where? I am president of the Gambia, I'm not president of a coalition. And this is a clear example, and that is why, as Dr. Dimancho, who is a senior researcher, said, that you must have a memorandum of understanding. This memorandum of understanding will guide you on who is doing what, where, and how. And without that, I bet you, if they don't come together by Friday, it's not an issue of two parties coming together. I'm not talking about two parties. I'm talking about majorities of the frontline parties. In this frontline parties, I'm talking about SDF. I'm talking about that of Cabral Libi. I'm talking about that of also Mr. Chiruma. I'm talking about Bello Buba. I'm talking about that of now the population of Professor Maurice Kamto. All these people, if they come together, they will do something. And there's a good number, like Dr. Dimanjo said that last time we had 6 million, but not up to, just about 3 million that went and voted. The issue is there's the silent majority. Most of this silent majority want to see a strong coalition before they go out to vote.
Now, we already had a coalition around Professor Maurice Kamto and another coalition around Barrister Keremuna. Okay, we are announcing another coalition. Should we be expecting something real solid where all the key players are involved, or content ourselves with maybe 2-3 parties which may necessarily not be able to pull the ground?
Yeah, and that, yeah, exactly, Mr. Liu. And I said it at the beginning of this program. I said we have 13 parties which have already at least been retained, and getting to have more, it is a sort of distraction. What we should be doing now is that we should be trying to
trim the number,
down, and we can only trim the number now that these parties have been retained through what we call a coalition. And now, talking about the coalition now too, there is another issue about it. Like Mr. Tamar Javi said, it is not about saying the president must go, the president must go. I want to make, from my perspective, a distinction between a liberation theology and a liberation ideology. And that these have to blend. You know, in the 1990s, we had a liberation theology with the SDF, which hinged on Poor Biya must go. That was their mantra, Poor Biya must go, Poor Biya must go. And that is why, when Mr. Tamajo gave the example of the Gambia with Barrow, you will understand that they were on a liberation theology. It means that what? They just wanted to drive away Yahya Jammeh. And their problem was for Yahya Jammeh to leave power. And they went into a kind of a sham kind of a coalition, which succeeded to drive away Yahya Jammeh, but it didn't continue to save them or to salvage the country from where it was sinking. And that is why I am advising that, talking about a coalition, yes, what form of a coalition do they take? Let them hinge their ideology, their MOU, on the issue of an ideology. Yeah. To say, because that is the ideology that is going to sustain them after taking up power. If they remain on that theology of saying that Poor Biya must go, Poor Biya must go, then we are going to be very, very disappointed in this country even after that coalition takes power. So I'm advising that this needs to come up early. Yes, we are happy to get the information that you should have Friday to do that. And that if you have, they should be able to mark out something. At least the preliminary should be done. They cannot come up with something just within a few days. But the preliminary should be done. Because the preliminary is that what? Okay, what are we working on? What is the ideology that we want to work on that is going to sustain us now during campaigns and after the election when we win the election? That is going to be very, very important. Because it is not just for his sake that we have a coalition. We can have a coalition that may even have 1% tomorrow. That is still a fact. Let us also remember, understand this, yes, that we can even have about 5 political parties, 6, 7, 8, 9 coming together, which will have 2%. It is very important for us to know on what we are working on a coalition. A coalition should be able to convince.
Key players should not be left out.
Exactly, key players should not be left out. Yes. If you go, for example, we have 6 parties which have run for elections before. 6. And we have 7 who are newcomers. If the 7 who are newcomers just come out and say, we are a new generation, we want to take over. Let me tell you, in every situation you need mentors. That is an advice I'm giving. Because the newcomers may come out and say, we want to do like Senegal. And say, this is the world of the youth. Sometimes, it is not in every situation that is the same. And therefore, those who are coming together should take into consideration the geographical setting, the socio-democratic situation of Cameroon. Imagine that you go a coalition and the candidate are South-South or North-North. Or does it make any sense? It doesn't make, because Cameroon is a kind of a tribe, has a tribal kind of politics, whereby if you do not go by that tribal side of politics, you have 20 political parties coming together, they will never win. Imagine having parties which come from maybe one particular littoral. Let me say the littoral. Yes, the littoral has its own distinction. Let me say west, southwest, or north and northwest. Just that. And then you think that is a coalition. I think Ms. Andim is the only person from the southwest. Imagine that finally Ms. Andim qualifies and the Constitutional Council gives him a right to run. When I'm talking about,
but Joshua is from the southwest.
Yeah, Joshua is also from the southwest. But there is a condemnation. Some people always think that he's in Wuri Sound, and people think that the base after, but he's from the south. We accept.
Zim is from the northwest.
From the northwest, but he's running under the southwest. So now you see, how scattered. You are accepting what I'm saying. It's so scattered.
The demographic factor
is really, really funny. So they have to be able to come. Get somebody from the north. Get somebody from the south, get somebody from the littoral, get somebody from the west. Let me tell you, that would be a perfect kind of a coalition to have. But don't go and get friends or newcomers who do not even have a... And getting these people too, there's another thing that counts. What base do these people have? Remember that some people are coming for election this year.
That's the question I had for him.
Remember that some people are coming this year because we want to project for next year. Yes, of course. Kabra is very strong today because he was very good in 2008 in the presidential election.
Yes.
Which, of course, he demonstrated that he could go.
Yes.
And the people saw him in 2020. He has 5 parliamentarians. That is why some people are coming. They are even coming because they want the presidential election. They want to leave the president. It's a municipality. And you know that the issue of party too makes a lot of money. Do you know how much money some parties make today because of independent candidates coming? A lot of money.
Which is illegal.
Which is illegal. Which is very illegal. They are taking it as a business.
Yes.
And that is what we are condemning.
Yes.
And we are saying that people should go for meaningful coalition.
Okay. Yes. If somebody says, I'm resisting a coalition without a solid political base, what are they counting on to cover the 10 regions?
Like Javi said, they just want to create a base. Mr. Leo, it's an open secret that when you go to the Grand North, like you were saying, when you go to the Grand North today, it will be difficult to beat Bello Boba Makari no matter how strong you are. It will be difficult. Take it and rather leave it. That Cheruma Bakari was once in the system, he has resigned. His brothers in the Northerners are not looking at that minister who has resigned. They are looking at Cheruma. It will be difficult to beat the UDC in the noon. It will be difficult to beat Cabral Libi in Sanaga Maritime. It will be extremely difficult, not to say an uphill task, to beat Pobia in the south. When you look at this, Mr. Liu, I want to begin to think that when I look at the political landscape and you see people whose political base is even questionable, persons whom we've seen the people don't even identify them even in their community. Mr. Lope, make me say that among some of these candidates, even those who have retained the 13, there are people amongst these guys who cannot win elections in their villages. Like seriously. What I'm saying here is, at the end of the day, it is not something to show off. You should be able to understand that, okay, let me work with Akire Muna Batonia Kerimuna. Let me work with Joshua Osi. Let me work with Bello Buba. Let me. Now, you should be able to understand that they have a strength. When you look at a candidate that has been retained, like the Mr. Eteke for the presidential elections, he's a young man. Many persons may not know him. But now he has been retained. He has the intellectual capacity, has a financial capacity, has everything that it takes. But now, at times I feel, Mr. Leo, that elections takes more than that. And politics is not that. There are things that if Dimancho says, even in journalism, there is what we call prominence. Which means that if there is an, let me give you a simple example. If there's an accident and 2 people die, if you have, say, a duo, like the duo of Bamenda 2 who died, Nicolas Kongo, who just died recently in Limbe, will not through an accident. That same day that he passed away, Mr. Leo, many Cameroonians died. But he went viral. He is a prominent figure. There are things that Dr. Nzimancho can influence in his community. We should be able to understand that some people have influence where they come from. And there's some people, like I said before, Mr. Leo, and I'm reiterating it, that if you, that I'm seeing here, engages in anything, I have no reason of voting you. I'm just going to give you for solidarity, even if you come and betray me later. So I think that when these people are thinking of a coalition, it's a good idea. We had the same thing in 2018, where political parties, it was rumored that a coalition is coming up. But at the end of the day, it failed. Because someone thinks that they have a following, and someone thinks that their party is too old. If these people, Mr. Liu, to save the people, Mr. Liu, we saw what happened in Senegal. It is not Sonko who is president. Yes, Sonko played a high role in what is happening in Senegal. I feel that Dr. Nzimancho must not necessarily be president of Cameroon, but can say, okay, Prince, go ahead. I'm bringing my own brothers to support you. Okay. If we do not do that, and we keep, Mr. Liu, counting on individuality.
We're talking about a coalition. Should we only see those who have qualified in this qualified according to Elekam in this coalition, or those whose files have been rejected, but they think that they have something to bring? Because though rejected, but they had some following, should they also join in this move?
Yeah, they should. The impact of one by Mr. Roland Kwame, which says that one person can actually influence something. We should not also refuse the fact, because those who were rejected, they have their own admirers, and they have their opinion leaders in some way or another, where whatever statement they make, there are some people in their circle that we just follow without thinking. Like we say, we have the selective absorption, retention, and also selective exposure. So there are people who definitely go and cast their ballot because they heard that Dr. Dimancho said they should vote for so and so A and B and C. Let us also not forget that coalition is both ways there, because some people may misquote us thinking that we are only looking at the opposition. Even the ruling government also is forming its coalition. And they are also looking at forming coalition with people who did not even, the parties that did not even deposit.
Yeah, we saw the Secretary General at the presidency receiving political parties.
Like parties that even have not deposited. So to answer your question, if they can go to a party who have not deposited, it means that the opposition also can go for parties that also have been rejected by Elekam, because it will galvanize the base. It's all about building the base. You may be lacking in a particular division, and the person who went in to deposit his file has the grasp of that division, and the person is saying that if you vote for Mr. A, I am certain that if he wins, he will take me and I will transform our community, and so on. So that is the negotiation, and that's why everybody needs to come on board. Even the people who forgot their ID card upon registration, you don't need to neglect them, because whether we like it or not, there are some treasures one or two ways. When I watch social media, people, Cameroonians have taken some of these things. You see, they will follow some particular kind of, pressy. They will sit, and it's kind of humor, but it goes a long way to say that man also now has his fan base, whether we like it or not. So we need to come together. My only appeal is that it should better be early than too late, because we all watched what happened in 2018 in Cameroon. In 2018, when The Constitutional Council had already given its final list. Final elections, people have started campaigning.
They actually went to the field.
Yeah, they actually went to the field. It was only on the eve that we saw a coalition when Senior Barrister Keremuna now say, okay, I endorse Professor Maurice Kamto. At that time, his name could not be taken off the ballot. And at that time, he had already gone to the field as Akere. Now, there are some sympathizers, that there are some people that probably would have gone to vote if they had seen that they had come early. That they would have also registered early. Because early coalition boosts registration, voters registration. Early coalition boosts voters registration. So that's why I'm begging that. And when I saw that people went and paid this 30 million, I told somebody that kiss coalition goodbye. When I saw that parties went and paid 30 million, I said, because economically, it's a wastage of resources. Even if they'll pay your money back, even if this person says, don't bother, I'll pay that 30 million, you have wasted the resources. Because that money would have been used for campaigns. That money would have been used for something else.
Maybe this is what is going to be used now for negotiations. Because if other parties are coming just to support, these guys will say, but hey, you did not qualify.
Mr. Lo, maybe briefly. I just want to...
Okay, land fast. No, let him land.
So that's why now, if this is what will make a coalition even very difficult, that 30 million that they have paid, because you may come for negotiation, this person say, no, I pay my 30 million, this person, okay, let me give you 5, this one is saying, no, let me give you 10. At the end of the day, as you are delaying, time is going. And be rest assured that will be a factor for this coalition. Be rest assured it will be a factor. Because I've spoken with some of these candidates individually, they said they have what it takes to win the election. And I asked myself, how do you have what it takes single-handedly to win the election? Like one candidate was at Aspirant was telling us here some time ago that he has what it takes to beat the CPDM. And when you look at the question, how do you have what it takes as a young man that people you did not even declare? There's a difference between people who are declared, who did not drop. They are even more popular than those who just came now and have their name on the list. They are more popular than some of these people. Then that person tells you that, Jarvis, I know what to do. I will be on social media, I will campaign on TikTok, and I will win. How? So that's why to ask a question.
The father's immoral.
That is it. People vote on party's emblem because at this time.
Just coming.
Yeah. Briefly, Mr. Leo, it's not my turn to. I just want to react to the question you asked, Jarvis, that there are some candidates who have been rejected. Yeah, they have a following, even if it's 2 people. It takes just one, like he said, to defeat the opposition. You received someone who had the dream here on the same platform, someone whom I know, and even Mr. Jarvis knows, Mr. Asong Michael. And I remember on the same platform, it's an open secret, that he said that when you ask him that, okay, what is the way forward? He says he's open and waiting for other political parties to come to him. That's Cameroon. Which means he sits where he is and he's waiting for Joshua Osi to call him, Akere Muna to call him, Belu Boba to call him, and Isa Chiruman to call him. I'm not minimizing his strength. He's a friend, he's a brother. I admire him, very intelligent. But I think, Mr. Leo, that when change is actually needed, self goes off. At times, you must not necessarily wait for them to call you. You should also understand that the purpose for which, I'm just using that case as an example, so people don't focus on them. I just understand that there are some people who wanted to be candidates who did not succeed. What do they do, Mr. Liu? Get to those who have been there. Belu Buba has been a minister in this system for 28 years. He knows certain secrets. Issa Chiruma Bakari has been a minister in this same country for 21 years. He knows certain routes and certain areas. When you're coming up as a young man, you still have a political party. Mr. Liu, even in this profession where we're practicing, at times, just the name, good afternoon, sir, this is Kumle Nat, the managing director of My Media Prime, has more weight than Jarvis, who says, good day, sir, this is Jarvis, a worker in My Media Prime. I feel that we are not minimizing any candidate. If these candidates are really serious, we have seen those who have given in the opposition. Some of them, Mr. Liu, just their names rings bell even to children who are yet to be born. So I just feel that I just wanted to add that those who were not successful, because there were 82 of them, we saw some of them like Ndim Jacob. He may have just 2 people in his quarter, because when I followed his CV, it was written that he is a farmer and a part-time teacher, which means that even a student he's teaching may want to vote him if I told the student has a voter's card. Which means that even where he have his plot and where he's doing agriculture, someone will want to vote him.
Don't forget, he has former students too.
That is what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. So I'm saying that, Mr. Leo, even those of the 82 who were not there, Jarvis, what I'm saying is they should be able to bring even one person. Because Jarvis has said something which is very important, Mr. Leo. He has made mention of the fact that while the opposition is thinking of coalition, even the CPDM is not sleeping. I bet you that there are political parties who are currently in this system that at the end of the day, when results will be coming out, we will say we are giving our votes to the CPDM. Let people wait and see it will come out. It is not for nothing that when people say that Jean Didier Momo of Padek went and told President Paul Biya, told Ngongo that we want to give you our own people who vote for us, and people are like, he first of all has so many militants. Do not forget he's coming from a family. Do not forget he's coming from a community. And in that community, people are not looking at Jean Didier Momo. They are looking at the minister delegate in the Ministry of Justice. You understand? Yes. It's not Jean Didier Momo that are looking. I keep saying this thing to Cameroonians. They don't people understand this thing, they don't understand. Okay. So, at the end of the day, Mr. Leo, Jean Didier Momo may bring just 2 votes. Another example, like Javi said, with parties are going closer. Take Honorable Bapoli Pot. Look at the number of Mbombok. And Mbombok is a title holder in the Basalan that he mobilized to go meet the PM and say, we have decided to give our votes to the CPDM with the UPC. Imagine that they were just 10. According to what I saw, they were more than 10. All those fathers I saw are of voting ages. They should at least have a voting card. Imagine only those 20 carry those votes and give to CPDM. So when CPDM wins, they will say that CPDM stole elections. Mr. Leo, we need to sit up.
I want us to look at the time factor because after now, once the Constitutional Council sits and then validates all of these petitions and declares the final list, the ballot papers are going to be produced.
Simple.
Yes, so would it really mean anything if they fail to do it now? Because the polling stations are going to carry all of the papers.
Yeah, and this is actually a French called gaspillage. Because remember that parties have paid 30 million francs each. And remember how negotiated some of these parties have had to have the 30 million francs to pay.
Good.
It is a very, very difficult thing now to talk about a coalition after that.
Voila.
A coalition will mean that what? These leaders need to go and do consultations from wherever they got the 30 million from, or with some members of the party before coming back to say yes. Because most people have sponsored these parties from behind, and they are expecting something particular at the end. Yeah, but they are expecting turnout.
When you support a party with no political base to the tune of 30 million, what are you expecting out of it?
Well, what are you expecting? You are expecting that this particular person, we know about clientelism in party issues. You are expecting this particular person will be projected, and tomorrow, remember the politics to GS will lock that you know that you can put this and it may give some fruit tomorrow.
The event may happen.
It may happen. It feels swear to you. Yes. So when you give the 30 million, you know about just giving and sitting. You yourself, you are working at your own particular corner. You are working, and you are projecting that tomorrow it may happen. And and politics deal with data, as I always say. They look at what has happened in other countries. I take an example of a DRC. I always want to take that example where Tshisekedi, the father, played for over 30 years. He didn't have it. The son, Felix, is now in power.
Yes.
So you see, this is the way people project. In politics, you do not nurse or plan to eat now. In politics, you plan to eat in future. And that is why I talked here about ideology. Ideology deals very much in politics and not theology. Because theology is ephemeral and ideology is perennial. So that is what people do. And I was expecting that endorsement. I used to talk about endorsement. People don't even know about endorsement when it comes to our political setting here. Endorsement too is a very, very important thing. Like we're talking about parties who are not even going for election. Endorsement is passive coalition. Yeah. It is passive coalition. Imagine a heavyweight like some of those that have been carted or removed, rejected, coming to endorse you. like Akerechu will be expecting that if Maurice Kamto is not taken, he too should endorse him as he did in 2018. That is what is happening. Imagine a person like Maurice Kamto endorsing Akere. This is going to be historic.
Yes,
and remember what weight Akere Muna is going to have. Yeah. So we should not neglect even those who have been rejected.
Dr. Abed
Dr. Abed did that with the SDF. This is what we are expecting. I call some few of them because I'm working those who are rejected and asked, but you are just quiet. Are you not just going to write something and endorse or encourage those who are there? They say, okay, they are still studying to see. I said, but what exactly are you studying? Endorsement is one of the most important things you do. And you see, this kind of coalition they are doing is usually what we do when we have 2 rounds elections. Yes. This nick of time, this nick of time coalition. This is what we usually do in 2 rounds elections. Whereby you know that when two candidates are retained, now you come now and say, okay, I align behind this one, you align this one. This is what makes the beauty of election and campaigns, my brothers and sisters. What are people looking for? Don't people actually do the politics? Because I'm not talking about political science. People should do the politics, which is the grassroots stuff, and learn what is done elsewhere. Because what they are doing now, I think that this is wastage. You are going to produce 3 candidates have been retained. They will produce ballot boxes, perhaps for Univer, produce ballot box for maybe Isa Chiroma, Salvation Party, and all of ballot papers. And at the end of it all, are you not confusing the electorate? At the end of it all, you are confusing the electorate.
And you will not even have enough time to show them the ballot paper.
Exactly. That is the problem. You don't have. No, you have just 2 weeks.
Yes.
To show to villages and show that and say that instead. And remember that in some villages. That's why I said all these mini parties process wasted. In most villages in Cameroon, we have just 2 parties. Where I come from, we have not 2 parties since I was born. We are not just 2 parties. So when you come and tell me we have 13 parties in Cameroon, most of those 13 parties are just township parties. Really, we know the real parties that we are supposed to.
And the data of voters are more royal.
Then you know what? That is the thing. So, all this thing, and then we are playing. It is at the nick of time that we start. Because if you want to introduce this, it should at least come 3, 4, 5 years before time. It is not at the nick of time that you start all of these things now. Why should you come there at the end of this time?
Been in power for 43 years. Want to come and
no, that's not even the point. We can still win the party that's been for 43 years. It's not even the point. But the point is that Kive Ale Ruang, that is who wants to go far. Sadi is horse. That's what the Frenchmen say. It means that what? We knew that we were going far. What do? Did we study our horse, or we left and we went? The journey was the next day before we started asking ourselves, what are we going to put on the horse? This is actually what I'm talking about.
Let's look at the language the opposition should be talking. Now, should we still be seeing opposition castigating the others to prove what point now? Because what's very current is you are struggling to pull down this person. You say SDF is a sellout. You say Cabral was fabricated by the government. You say these other guys are this and that and that and that. For what end now? When you
just 1 second, please, Joe. Because I went out to these opposition parties, let me tell you frankly that there are some political parties leaders who told me face to face that they will never go with another this party, so other particular party.
Okay.
I mean, this is actually what we have on the ground.
Okay, go on.
Mr. Leo, your questions are timely, and as a trained professional that you are giving the facts and the figures. I just believe that one of the greatest issues and problems we have in Cameroon is we don't have an opposition. Dr. Dimanjo has said something, and I was thinking that that is what we should be doing. In America, where my good friend and brother Jarvis always supports America, under Trump Jr., there is a Republicans, is that? And the
Democrats.
The Democrats. It means that you choose from one man. You either vote for Kamala Harris or you vote for Donald Trump. There's no other person. Americans come out and choose either to vote for Kamala Harris or they vote for Donald Trump. And even when Donald Trump wins as the president of America, it is the same Kamala Harris who is coming out same day and telling those who voted her that we fought a good fight. We tried. From what I've seen, it shows that we can do better. She starts planning. In Cameroon, when they beat you in 2018 presidential elections, you disappear. You start becoming a businessman or an author, like my very good big brother, Dr. Nzimanchu, writing your books. When you see that the presidential year is coming 2025, you come up. Mr. Leo, Cameroonians are too mature and too intelligent. I'm speaking from what I've gathered on the ground. You cannot spend time by saying that Cabral Libi is fabricated by the system. You cannot spend time by saying that Joshua Ossi is a system man. You cannot spend time by saying that Akeremuna will never win an election because even his father did this. When you do that, you are not only discrediting the opposition. What are you doing, Mr. Leo? You are empowering the system. Whereas, if you came together and said, what we want now is change. Whether Akeremuna's father, who was Esti Muna, did what we don't want to know now. Whether Joshua Ossi is a system man, keep it aside. Whether Cabral Libi is what we don't want to hear now. What we want is that we are going out as one man to vote against the CPDM. Dr. Nzimanchu has raised up a point. Mr. Liu, in my village, when I was growing up, we had two political parties. The SDF, the Social Democratic Front, and the CPDM. And since Mr. J is linked to Akko, it's called Mr. J Akko constituency, the MP, even as of now, comes from Akko. Now, at the end of the day, when people are going to vote, like what will be happening? The people are voting a party, Mr. Leo. They are not looking at Akere, they don't want to know Akere. At the end of the day now, but now if the opposition political parties all come together, what becomes of the people? They will now say, we now have this. We saw a young man, very talented. I said it there the last time. Ndasi Evis Nankam, who was there in the village at one time and wanted to be an MP, who was beaten by the CPDM. But now, you discover that he had a bit of following because the people were identifying Mr. Leo as of now. The question you've asked is extremely timely. Let Cameroonians and let politicians. I pray that we're speaking and it's not in the wilderness, like George Kelong asked the national president of the Communication Council, that hope you're not speaking in the wilderness. What I think is, let the parties come together, Mr. Liu.
Okay.
So that someone, wherever the person is going to vote for change. No matter how bitter the change will look later, let change come first.
Mulu Prince, good evening to you watching us on our social media handle, as well as you. Lori Musika Kindima, good evening to you. Good evening to you. Kombo Ngwa and Fumbi Alexander. Not forgetting my very good friend Lydia Nganku. Good evening to you, and glad to know that you are watching us from the United States of America. Extend our greetings to your husband Nganku Eric, and we are glad to know
the big
that
man of footprint.
Yeah, we are glad to know that you are watching us. Timeliness and the language, very cautious at this time.
Yes, of course, language plays a key role. It either kill the hopes of coalition or brings many people together. Because prior to this time, we have been hearing that people making some kind of languages that will not form a coalition with any.
Laissez-nous un peu vivre, même quand on boit, on n'est jamais ivre. Est-ce que tu connais le héros? L'adrénaline que tu ressens quand Babana fait un virage avec toi sur la moto.
Economy is limping and crawling. We acknowledge that electricity is epileptic. We acknowledge that our hospitals need serious transformation. We acknowledge our agriculture is not being able to sustain itself, and that we are not eating what we produce and we are not producing what we eat. We acknowledge that our educational system in itself needs transformation. These are the things we all agree. Now the issue now is, why don't we focus on that by picking one person to lead this? Like Dr. Dimancho said, the language will play a key role in forming a coalition, and also socio-demographic factor cannot be neglected. That is, first, form a third-man team. From the third-man team represented by the regions. From that region, now, if you narrow it down to two-man team, the two-man team represent the two bi-jural and the bicultural nature to lead the coalition. The two-man team A and B, with a particular format that if I win, there will be a post of the vice president. That this is how the people want to see the coalition. If they don't have this strategy, they should come. We'll give them the strategy. Or you form a 20-man team. The 20-man team, two per each region. or 30-man team, or even 100-man team. That is, each division has a key person representing that coalition. Within that time now, you narrow it down to 2 to 10, you narrow it down to 2, knowing that, okay, North and Southwest, I have this voice, I have this voice, going down the field. Because if you fail to do that, bet me, even if they don't come together, even if President Pobia doesn't go to campaign or not, he has won the election on the ballot without cheating, without anything. Some people may not like what I'm saying, but that is the reality. Let us look at data in 2018. How many people voted? 3 million. How many voted the CPDM? Divide that across Cameroon. It gives you the map, because the voters of CPDM are loyal. They are loyal. There are people who go and cast their ballot. No, and also, our population should not be carried by urbanization, the urban noise. The urban noise is so much. But the issue is, if you look at the voting data, majority of those who actually voted are people in the village. They are so into change. The people in city will tell you, oh, I have this letter to read, to send, I have this email to do, I have this my child, for the 1 to 6 o'clock has passed. And that is why we are saying that any serious political party will go and campaign in the suburb, because it is difficult to campaign more in the suburb than in the urban center.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll end with you, Dr. Michael Ndimancho, with this book. It is a novel which you just published called Father Osi and the Village Spirits. Can you briefly, in 3-4 minutes, explain what is contained in the book?
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo. Father Osi and the Village Spirit is all about the clash of cultures. Call it the clash of religions, because here I've depicted 2 types of religion. That is the Christian religion and the African traditional religion, who actually come together in a particular village called Kalatu. Kalatu epitomizes the African landscape. That is, it is a microcosm of the African landscape. And the people are baffled, because all these 2 religions, now there's this interplay within them. Now, instead of the religion taking care of the needs of the village, they are now facing each other to see which one wins. So it is now a clash of religion which is not productive to the people of the village. Now, what happened within this clash? Within this clash now, the village begins to undergo through untold suffering. There is drought, there is famine, there are diseases, and people die, and all of those, because all the leaders of these religions are fighting themselves, and there is total neglect in the village. Now, what happens? It is the chief of the village now which broker a deal. The chief of the village has to call the leaders of the 2 religions together, sit them together, and has to talk sense, talk truth to power to them. And in this talking, what is happening? The chief wants to broker peace between them, to let them know that it is not about fighting, but it is about the good of the village. And that for the village to prosper, the 2 must collaborate. And immediately they accept to collaborate. After so much wrangling and so much fighting, at one moment they too are forced to collaborate because of metaphysical and mystical happenings that are in the village, which also affect the Christian religion and the African traditional religion. At one point they are at the tight corner, and they have to accept the extension of the hand of the chief of the village, sit together in the village, in the palace arena, arrange, and then they come together in a truce to say that the 2 religions have to collaborate instead of fight. What is the narrative here? In most of the African narrative, you always find one religion winning over the other. Most especially, the Christian religion always win over the traditional religion. The special thing about Father Osi and the Village Spirit is that the 2 religions, no religion wins, and that there is collaboration between the 2 religions. And because there is collaboration, there is prosperity, there is growth in the village, and there is peace in the village. So the advocacy here is that the 2 religions, instead of fighting, they should collaborate, because there are 2 things about the 2 religions.
They should find common ground.
They should find common ground and collaborate, and then we will find a peaceful world.
Okay, so the title of the novel is Father Osi and the Village Spirit. If you need a copy, just get to Dr. Ndimancho, and he will tell you where to get them. Can you just share your number?
Yeah, my number is 677-887382. 677-887382. Okay. It's also WhatsApp.
Yes. If people do not write to withdraw money from your account,
yeah.
At times you give number.
If you do not get it, you can still get to me. I will send your number to him, so you get your copy. Thank you guys for coming, and to the production team. Stay blessed. Bye bye. You want?